Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another edition of Creator Life Live. It's Scott Winterroth, co-founder of Content Academy, and I'm here tonight with a very special guest, someone who I admire, someone who I think is doing a really stellar job in the world of SaaS and web projects. It's Matt Lowe. Matt Lowe is the founder and CEO of ChipBot, getchipbot.com, and we're going to talk about FAQ website designs and just content strategy in general, and we're going to riff off each other in terms of sharing some great ideas that you can use to take to the bank and optimize your websites, optimize your clients' websites, and just have a great time creating content. This is Creator Life Live. We do it every Thursday night at 8 p.m., almost every Thursday night. We are creators ourselves, and we live lives, and sometimes things happen. But tonight, we're excited to get back on track with Matt Lowe, and I'm going to go ahead and bring Matt into the stream right here. Just give me 1 second. There's Matt. Hey, Matt, how are you doing?
Hey, Scott. Hey, doing all right. Thanks for the introduction. How are you doing?
Good. So Matt and I met, a couple years ago now, I bet. And we met at a WordPress meetup or something like that. I don't know what we're doing. And you were going around the room talking about your new product called ChipBot. And you started talking about it. And I'll be honest, at first I was like, oh, another chatbot, right? Another web chatbot, right? And then you started to explain a little bit more. And you really caught my attention about how ChipBot is a cool way to, a new look at using a website chat widget, if you will. You can correct me if I'm saying it wrong, but a new way to have a chat widget that's not completely live, but it has a lot of value packed into it, which I think is the most important thing. So Matt, before we dive too deep into kind of FAQs and our main topic of the tonight, give us a little rundown of ChipBot and what it is. I'd love to just kind of get it out there so people understand your background. And also, one more thing. Before you did ChipBot, I know you were in the web dev consulting space too. So I know you're a wealth of information aside from ChipBot too. So that's many years of experience in the business, and I thought it'd be kind of cool just to give a little intro to you before we jump into some of the topics that we want to kind of cover tonight. So Matt, take it away.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Scott. I'm Matt. I'm CEO of ChipBot. I've been doing SaaS products for about, 2014. So about 7 years now. This is my sixth company. I've been all around sort of the industry. I raised money, achieved product market fit. I did exit once. And then before that, I did tons of consulting. I used to do Fortune 1000 consulting, worked in variety of CMSs, did SEO, did marketing, did business analytics. So it's just tons of things. Past few years, I've been working a little bit more AI, not necessarily on the chatbot end, but like AI on pattern recognition. So like predicting user behavior, and then for example, providing a promotion based off behavior. So that's sort of the stuff I'm getting into these days. But most of the time I'm running ChipBot. If I'm not doing that, I'm tinkering with artificial intelligence.
Cool. I hope you're not going to artificial intelligence me out of a job. No, I'm kidding.
No.
So, hey, before we get too much farther in, we are live streaming, and I want to thank everyone who's here. I see Damon, I see Michelle, and I know a couple of you are out there. We really appreciate you guys joining us in the live stream. And if you'd like, please subscribe to this channel, and please leave a comment in the section. We'd love to hear what you have to say as we riff off each other tonight on FAQs. So, organizing your website's content, I think, is one of the biggest challenges many clients, many startups have in terms of building an awesome website that's not necessarily an encyclopedia of your business. I think a lot of businesses get caught in they need to build a whole encyclopedia for their business, when in a lot of cases, your clients are just trying to answer questions that they have about who you are and what they need done, right? And frequently asked questions, I think, is something that, feel free to chime in, anyone really. If some FAQs are something that go in and out of fashion with websites. I know at one time it was all the rage. Then a couple years ago, I remember someone told me, oh, don't use FAQs, or if you have FAQs, they should be more incorporated inside the website, not like an FAQ page. Just recently, someone said, oh, no, you have to have an FAQ page. Matt, give us your lowdown on FAQs. I'd love to just kind of get your experience. I know that's something that a lot of what your business is based around is answering people's questions. So I'm just curious if you have any thoughts on that.
Yeah, absolutely. So FAQs is just one component of a website, right? You have these series of confidence factors that you have to establish so your visitor doesn't bounce immediately. Very simple example, you have a logo on the top left. you have some type of reputable hero in the middle, right? A lot of people try to do some crazy things on their homepage, but what happens is if you're too crazy, the visitors coming in just like, oh, this looks too foreign. They're going to bounce right away. FAQs is one of those factors that sort of improves the user retention rate. Not necessarily like on the homepage or right above the fold, but when users are scrolling through a page and they're just trying to get a little bit more, they want to know a little bit more about what you're trying to offer or what you do. FAQs is a really fast way of understanding that. Oftentimes, we're all marketers. When we put content out and we put headlines and we put paragraphs, they're not always good. But we don't know that until they get user tested. FAQs is the one thing that you could be as bland as possible, but as long as it actually is like a simple question and answer format, it always shines. So having those confidence factors, which includes FAQs, just helps user retention.
Great. Yes, retention's important. Also, it talks about retention can also support conversion, right? Can you give us a 2-second overview of what a conversion might do and how an FAQ could maybe help support a conversion? Also,
yes,
before you do that, I'm sorry to interrupt. Just want to give a big shout out to Dhruv, who's watching. Dhruv is a Divi friend of ours. So, hey, Dhruv, good to see you. Sorry, Matt, I don't mean to cut you off there, but I just did. So, yeah.
No, Divi's a good call out. I love Divi.
That's right. You know about Divi. Yeah, I think I've seen you at one of our meetups. Absolutely. Yeah, by the way, we're doing the Divi meetup online now. I think I saw you at one of our in-person events, so I'd love to see you at one of our virtual events.
Oh, really?
Divi Chicago, meetup.com/Divi-Chicago, the other meetup that I run. So I'm a little bit self-promotion there, but there you go. So Matt, we're talking about conversions. We're talking about FAQs. Give us some examples. You kind of mentioned already, but give us some examples how FAQs can support conversions. And what is a conversion?
So let's do.
Yeah.
Yeah, a conversion is the metric that you define of you got your value back off a click, right? So for example, my conversion for ChipBot is a sale, meaning they went from an ad, they hit a landing page, they signed up, and they put their credit card in, and the transaction went through, right? That's a conversion for me. Mm-hmm. For others, a conversion could be a newsletter email, right? Say you're on a blog page and you're running a mailing list, for example, and you're just trying to collect emails, and that's your bottom line KPI. You get that email hit from a random viewer, that's a conversion. So, let's run through the example. So you were saying like, okay, how does FAQs come into play with conversion? So let's say you run a Shopify store, or if you're in WordPress, you might be running a WooCommerce store. You build out, we'll say you're selling walnuts. That's what I have on my desk. Selling walnuts, you have whatever unique differentiator, maybe they come from Canada or something. And you have traffic going through, and you have traffic coming from Google ads and Facebook ads and Instagram ads. They're going to a particular landing page, not necessarily your homepage, but a landing page designed for that audience. So if you like walnuts, you might be into like nature, or might be into like nutritional organic stuff. So let's take down the nature route. Your ad is talking about like something about hiking and having, just say nuts with you. It's going to a landing page. Your hero is sort of saying that same copy. It's like, here's a deal of your life for walnuts. And if you buy now, you get another one free. It's like, okay, what's interesting? What's so special about it? They scroll down. You have 3 bullet points. We'll say one's organic, 2 comes from Canada, 3 it's for mom. This is a mom and shop store, right? We're not mom and pop store. So like there's some like, we're not a big brand or anything. Sometimes that resonates with certain audience. And then you scroll down, and this is where the key point for FAQs comes in, is they want to know specifically like, okay, where is a ship, right? If you come from Canada, I'm from the US, I want to know if there's a ship here. You'd be surprised, a lot of people install ChipBot, like the number 2 question is like shipping or international shipping. And a lot of people just wondering what that is, what are the rates, what's the time. So FAQs around that, you would see FAQs there. Another part of FAQ is like refunds or guarantee, just like something that gives that buyer assurance. And we'll say a third one could be like how long you've been around, your reputation. Sometimes those come into play too. It really depends. For a consumer good like walnuts, probably a little bit less on that, but we'll just keep playing with that. And those, when you have those, what happens is the user on the page just has a little bit of doubt, just a little bit. And you're using FAQs to combat doubt. And that is a very key factor when it comes to improving buyer confidence. right? Your hero, your value proposition is great. Unfortunately, it's just not good enough. Mm-hmm. So FAQs adding into that, so it's like, okay, you answered, what I felt was satisfying. Let's move over with the conversion, right? And usually, what happens right after you have FAQs, you go into testimonials and you have a very simple but strong call to action mm-hmm. that leads into like add a cart or whatever mm-hmm. your conversion page is.
Yeah, that's so important, is to sort of reinforce that desire, right? I think a lot of mm-hmm. us, if you're conversion copywriters or the copywriting business, it's all about that landing page and having that sort of reinforcement. But also FAQs can help support search engine optimization. Any thoughts on how that FAQs can help with that?
Yeah. So if you're doing organic campaigns like this, FAQs won't really help. Like if you have in the landing page example, that won't really help SEO as much unless you have a lot of traffic going to that landing page already. FAQs in general will help your brand. So we'll say the Walnut Company, we'll say it's Whole Foods, for example. Well, your FAQs on like wholefoods.com/FAQs could help your SEO, because then what it would do is it'll have indexable content that has like, okay, is Whole Foods purely organic, right? Simple question. Well, the nice thing about FAQs is if you type that in Google, most likely you can be the top result. And then separately, Google has the ability to show cards. So you can have an FAQ card. So if you rank number 1, your card can come up, and when you type in a question, you get the first question answered. But in addition, you can have subset questions already viewable straight from Google, and all that text can lead back to your page. So it's really beneficial to have FAQs for SEO, just so it can improve the search quality for your users.
Got it. Okay, let's shift gears for a second here, Matt. Let's say I'm a content strategist, or I'm a startup company, and I'm a walnut company, right? And I think walnuts are pretty self-explanatory for the most part. How do I maybe think of, that's not a word, how do I think of some ideas for initial questions, and then what's a good way of capturing, I'm going to ask you 2 questions here. What's a good way to start, and then how do I capture some good questions once I have a business going and soliciting online?
Yeah, it's a good question. So the first thing you want to do is figure out the category, like who are you targeting? Sometimes you don't really start always with your product. You start with, as a consumer buying your product, like what's the most urgent questions in your industry? So if you're walnuts, I'm going to reiterate a little bit. It's most likely going to be shipping, because you're not buying from Amazon. So they don't really know, you're not getting 2-day shipping potentially. Mm-hmm. And the shipping trust isn't really established. So as a consumer, right, regardless if you're selling walnuts or some crafts, just anything, I need to know those details. So yeah, you start with sort of B2C kind of like general factors, B2C online store, right? So you got to drill down from the category, go one level deep as a subcategory, and then start having a template from there, and then build off of it. Once you have the initial content, so let's say you have shipping, you have about the company, you have about the product, and you have sort of potentially an origin story in your FAQs. Then what you would want to do is you need to be able to capture new questions, because the problem with FAQs is it's what you think of, which is counterintuitive, right? Frequently asked questions is the actual term, but they're not frequent at all because you just made them up. So you have to actually you use that as a base to collect real questions. So that's what my product does, is we build out your initial FAQs, but then over time we capture new questions for you to either replace what you thought of or reorganize based off what is frequent.
Right. The best questions come from your actual clients who have questions, right? But you got to kind of seed them not to go back to the nut example, but you have to kind of seed them in order to get them started. So that's one thing.
Yeah, because they won't crack the nut if there's no nuts there in the first place.
Yeah. So that's one thing that I thought was very, very interesting and very, very useful with ChipBot was the fact that you could continuously collect questions and then use that to fill your chatbot, right? But also to fill your
more than that.
page. Yeah.
There's a couple of things, right? So say you just have this ability to capture questions. Well, if, for example, this came from one of our customers. Say someone asks, "What's your how can I get refunds from your product?" Mm-hmm. Say someone's asking that on a landing page, just for an example. Mm-hmm. And we'll say it's a big ticket item. Say it's like a Peloton or a treadmill, something like in the 4-figure range.
Right.
Can I get refunds? If someone's asking that, I would say you have a landing page problem. And that's what capturing questions can help with, is it can actually detect, is there something wrong with your page? Because people asking like maybe these simple questions, that's probably a warning sign that your landing page needs improvement, because the questions they should be asking should be something like in the range of like secondary benefits or something that you wouldn't want to clutter your landing page. But if it's like key, very important buyer decision kind of questions, sometimes you might need to just put like a 1-line statement or just something like just a small blurb calling these things out. So that way users are going through a buttery smooth process down the funnel.
Mm-hmm. I love that concept, and kind of mind blown for a second there. It's like FAQs, collecting questions and answers isn't just for creating FAQs, right? We collect, I think what you just said is we also collect questions and answers to fine tune our landing page content, right? So, right. Or maybe even pivot our product if we had to, hopefully that's not the case. But
that's the case for so we have a lot of startups that use us. Actually, that is a case for a lot of these like early stage companies. Mm-hmm. They would use ChipBot, and they're just asking like the most bizarre questions, and it gives ideas for the founders. And it's like, oh, I never really thought even a customer would do this. And it's interesting, right? Because usually you get this information from a conversation, right? We're in a dialogue right now. We're exchanging insights. Usually you get that. That's how founders get it. But the cool thing is, like, some of them don't have time for live chat, so they lose that insight. Mm-hmm. So what they'll do is they'll install our product, and they get a shortcut to these questions directly. It may not be a dialogue, but it's better than nothing. And if you're a founder and you just you're strapped on time, that is super valuable information, because then it's like you're talking to your customer, but you're not, but you get the same info as if you are.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I know one thing I've learned too, that if you start sending traffic to your landing page and there's 0 conversions, then you have a problem. Houston, we have a problem, right? So one thing I also love about ChipBot is that it's sort of, no matter what, I know that I can sleep at night knowing that it's a last case scenario type situation too. That's kind of like a parachute, if you will. You can have a great landing page, great copy, but if you have to, hopefully you'll catch them with ChipBot before they go. But hey, speaking of, I think we've talked enough. Let's show a little bit of a demo here. I'm gonna try something I've never done before. Okay, Matt, you might have to drive me doing a demo here, which I've never done, but I will. Let me see if I can share my screen and showcase what we're talking about. So yeah, I've got your site here, Matt. Can you see it at all?
Yeah, I can see it.
Cool. So just a real quick example. Here's getchipbot.com, and then if we click on this little guy here, right? This is where I can show an example.
Mm-hmm.
Click on this.
Yep. There you go.
And then it pops up, right? And then I can't see anymore, so I'm kind of doing this blind. But that's okay. So right here we have these cards that are really cool. We have the good evening, which I think this is fantastic. I know it's dynamic and it kind of changes throughout the day. We have these cards that pop up, tutorials and guides. Here's our FAQs, and people can search for the information that they may have about your product or service or your e-commerce store. Mm-hmm. And ultimately,
the cool thing is all that content was actually driven from our users. So when I first, obviously I built this product, but one of the things I tested was like, could my users build the content for me? A lot of 90% of the questions and answers in here were driven from just people who visit the website.
Yes. So I just love it. I think it's a great, nice little organized, complete system that really helps kind of take the encyclopedia off your website in terms of your content and puts everything else they may need in a nice searchable, kind of easy to explore little flyout that makes the most sense, right? Especially helpful for venues. I know if you're a venue maybe that sells tickets or you're a ticketed venue, this is really helpful because you have many events that need people to answer questions, and I know that this would be a really helpful tool for venues and that kind of stuff for their customer service, online customer service, aside from your SaaS and your e-commerce stores that you guys work with as well. But one more thing I noticed.
Really works for anyone.
Yeah, true. One more thing I noticed, and I don't know if it was on this page or not, but I noticed that you also can do video answers. Did I see that right?
Yeah, a lot of the answers are for text, but yeah, you can upload videos, and we do that for a few of them. A lot of them are for like the demo ones, like type in like install in the top. Let's see here. Let's see if a live demo would work here. I'm trying to see how to install Chipbot in Squarespace. That might be a video. Yeah.
That's
so
nice.
Yeah, you can embed video here. And the cool thing is you can hit expand as well. So sometimes what we do is like, I'll get a customer who would sign up and maybe they didn't see it in Chipbot. Mm-hmm. So what we'll do is you can hit that copy link on the very top, and I would send that to them, and it would take you to whatever the page it was and reopen that FAQ dialog back up. So
cool. And it opens back up in the modal. Yeah, cool.
And they just watch the video right there, and then we can track that go back, hit expand again, just real quick. So what they'll do is they'll visit the link, they'll watch the video, and it's like, oh great, helped. Oftentimes, like 50% of the time, they'll go to the bottom because they're usually following the text as well, and they'll actually give us a rating. So then that gives me a signal that's saying, hey, this content actually worked. Because that's another thing too, and this goes into even your landing page. If you get a bounce, you don't know if users found it helpful or not, right? That's so annoying. You see 100% bounce rate on a page. You're like, what do I change, right? Chipbot, it helps you give that extra data. It's like, okay, even if you visit the page once and then left, we can sort of collect, did they type anything in Chipbot? Did they leave any feedback on Chipbot? And then that gives you that kind of assurance, like, okay, maybe something is working. We just need to tweak something else.
Yep. I just want to show people a couple more features. Again, really awesome to get that type of feedback and be able to collect it in terms of the dashboard. I know you have a completely awesome back-end dashboard, which we can't get into on the live stream right now. But for anyone who wants to check that out, they should definitely head on over to getchipbot.com and sign up for an account, right? And they'll get access to that dashboard and all the user tutorials and all that stuff.
Yep. And if I see you sign up, and I reach out to all my users personally, but if anyone signs up, and reply back to me with, hey, I saw you on Scott's stream, I'll give you 50% off for the entire year if you sign up for any of our paid plans.
Holy cow.
Scott's stream.
Holy cow. Thank you, Matt, for that. That's awesome. So, yeah, go check out Chipbot, use it, collect the data, collect really good content feedback, and use it to optimize your website. Matt, this has been awesome. I'm really happy that I've been able to get back on your schedule. I know you're a really busy guy, so I appreciate you taking time out to share this with me. I got to figure out how to get back to the interview mode here, so bear with me here, guys. Okay, there we are. So back to interview mode. That's a demo of Chipbot, an excellent tool for your content strategy, and something you should learn, something you should know and have in your toolbox, because when you're working on, you never know, the next client who comes around the corner may have a giant encyclopedia website. They need some type of slick tool like Chipbot to get them through to the next step. So, Matt, it's been awesome talking to you about FAQs. Any final thoughts before we sign off for the night?
No, I think you covered everything. It's great.
Cool. Well, hey, that's awesome. I'd like to have you back on sometime soon. We can do some more kind of FAQ content strategy tutorials here on the Content Academy live stream. Everyone watching, thanks again for watching. Thanks for your comments and your thumbs up. Please be sure to subscribe and like this channel, and share it with a friend who might find it valuable. If you like more content every week, Thursdays at 8 p.m. Central Time, we're right back at you with more content, more editions. And Matt, thanks again for being on, and we'll talk to you soon, okay?
All right. Thanks for inviting.
Yep. Bye now.
Bye.
All right. That was an excellent interview with Matt Lowe. Be sure to check out chipbot.com. I'm excited to see how you all use it. If you use Chipbot and you think it's a great tool, be sure to leave a comment in in the comments here on this video. And looking forward to next week. Next week we have another interview all lined up. I'm not going to say it to you right now, mainly because I can't remember who it is, but we have an interview lined up, and I'm really happy to bring that to you soon. You're welcome, Ron. Thanks, Ron, for watching. Looking forward to sharing some more cool tools, more tutorials, all that kind of stuff. If you know somebody who'd like to be on the Creator Life live stream, let me know. Feel free to email me at scott@contentacademy.com. I always like to respond to all the emails and messages I get. I'd love to learn about other products and services that we can showcase here on Content Academy. Thanks, Drew. You're welcome, Drew. And be sure to check out our meetup groups. We're on meetup.com/Content Academy. That's where you can find out information and sign up for this live stream right here that we're doing right now. Also, be sure to check out our Divi meetup. It's Divi Chicago. It's virtual, so it's anywhere really in the world. But if you go to meetup.com/Divi-Chicago, you can hear about how we use the Divi theme for WordPress. Where the Divi theme is an excellent tool for creating slick landing pages and slick web pages using WordPress, and one of the best themes, most popular themes in the world. Be sure to check that out. And finally, thank you so much for participating in the Creator Life live stream, and go on and create. Go out and create. Bye now.